thanking all of you for being here. This is wonderful. I'd also like to thank all of the wonderful organists who are in the gallery waiting to play. I want to thank the pastor, Dr. Johnson Ray Thinasamy, who can't be with us today because of illness in the family. And I'd just like to say that the Suffolk chapter of the American Guild of Organists is the sponsoring chapter, and the Nassau chapter, the neighboring chapter, is very much involved in this with their support and with their musicians. So we're very happy and very grateful to have all of them here. I'd just like to ask you very quickly, would you raise your hand just to let us know where you found out about this concert? So the first would be anyone from Trinity Lutheran, or you know one of the musicians. Thank you. Oh, that's great. Okay, thank you. How many of you might have found this out on any sort, sir? Any sort of social media? Okay, 2 of you. And if I've left out anybody, just sing out how you found out about this concert. Your son, okay, well that's yes, exactly, thank you. All right. So, I'd like to introduce Henry DeVries, who is the musician here at Trinity, who'd like to lead us in a prayer. Henry.
Welcome to Trinity. I am, as Chris said, Henry DeVries. I'm Minister of Music here at Trinity, and I'm standing in for Pastor Thinasamy, who is actually at a installation at his former church. So don't worry, he's not sick, and nobody in the family's sick. But welcome, and we're glad you could be here to be at this recital with our Walker instrument, which has now been here for 6 years. It's hard for me to believe it's been here that long. And if you've never seen it, you're more than welcome to come up and see it after the concert's over. If you don't have a church home, you know you have a nice organ here, so that's a plus. So you're more than welcome to join us for services. Let's open with prayer. Dear God of majesty, whom saints and angels delight to worship in heaven, be with your servants who make art and music for your people, that with joy we on earth may glimpse your beauty. Bring us to the fulfillment of that hope and perfection that will be ours as we stand before your unveiled glory. Through Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Henry. We're going to begin, as you can see, with Gene McCoy, who is the Dean of the Nassau chapter of the American Guild of Organists, we're very happy to say. And he's going to be playing, as you can see, the main theme from Star Wars, A New Hope. And after he's finished playing it, there'll be even more hope, I can tell you that for sure. Thank you, Gene. We're going to hear two pieces, as you can see, played by Terence Purcell, The Theory of Everything and How to Train Your Dragon, both pieces that you may very easily recognize. Terence, it's all yours. Thank you, Terrence. We can all see that there's a lag here, isn't there? Yeah, I don't know if they can do anything about that. But we'll now hear from Liz Bailey. And how many of you remember the Pink Panther? Huh? Everybody, right? Sure, yes, yes. We're all of a certain era, maybe? However you want to say that. And yes, and this will bring back lots of memories and probably a few smiles. Thank you, Liz. It did bring smiles, didn't it? Okay. Deanna is going to be playing music by Howard Shore. I'm not as familiar with him as I should be because he's obviously an incredibly talented original composer. And when you hear what she's going to be playing from Lord of the Rings, I think you'll agree. It's quite a startling, wonderful medley, and the sounds of this instrument are quite amazing. Are you as fond of this organ now as I am? Yes? Sure. This in terms of the number of stops on it, as far as I know, it's the largest church organ on Long Island. Yes, yeah. And it's a magnificent instrument that's been here, I think Henry said 6 years now, which six are the shortest years of your life, right? Yeah, thank you. Deanna, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to say a few things about the piece that I'm playing. This was written between 2000 and 2004 by Howard Shore, as Chris said. It was an extensive amount of music that was used for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is 3 movies. It earned 3 Oscars, 2 Golden Globes, and 3 Grammys. The music includes 50 themes, which are leitmotifs, which are descriptions of, or descriptive of characters or scenes that can be heard throughout the movies numerous times. So when creating this medley, I used 4 or 5 transcriptions and combined various sections to develop the themes. One of those arrangements was by Sarah Palmer, one of our scholarship winners last year. Thank you.
certain somewhere over the rainbow, and if I only had a brain, everybody knows. I know I don't for the second. And you're going to love the way the organ sounds. At one point, I don't think Judy will mind my saying this, at one point, if you close your eyes, you will be in Radio City Music Hall. No joke. Judy, it's all yours.
Yes, I am from Kansas. The first piece, Gabriel's Oboe, is a hauntingly beautiful piece written by the Italian composer Morricone for the 1986 film The Mission, starring Jeremy Irons and Robert De Niro. doesn't know and love Somewhere Over the Rainbow and If I Only Had a Brain. Both, of course, are from The Wizard of Oz, which was produced in 1939. Many babies born around that time, including myself, were named Judy after Judy Garland. Harold Arlen, the wonderful composer, was called into the front office during production and told that everyone wanted him to drop that awful song Somewhere Around the Rainbow because it was too sad and too dark. And big discussion ensued. And Harold Arlen said if they dropped Somewhere Over the Rainbow, he was walking off the movie and taking all of the music. So that's how it remained in the movie, and of course it won the Academy Award.
Thank you so much, Judy. Matthew Leone is now going to be playing for us the Dead Man's Chest from the Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that movie, and it's got some really wonderful music in it. And do you all remember how the character in the movie looks with all that stuff? Yes.
Thank you. When Chris asked me to play on this concert, I was a little bit reluctant because I was thinking, oh, what am I going to learn? What am I going to do from movie music? What can I reasonably learn in about a week or so? And then in about 5 minutes, I knew exactly what I wanted to play. This is, I think, the only piece composed for the film on this program that was actually originally written for organ. And it's, as Chris says, from Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. This is the theme of Davy Jones, the new villain in this movie. And Davy Jones is a very fascinating looking guy. He's cursed aboard this ship, and so he has become very ocean-like, very fish-like, and his head is basically an octopus with a big beard made out of arms and tentacles. And when I first saw this movie in 2006, I went with a couple of friends who sat in front of me, and there's this wonderful scene midway through the movie. It's late at night, there's a thunderstorm raging, and the Flying Dutchman is on the open seas, and we see Davy Jones in his private quarters playing this massive, monstrous pipe organ. But he's not playing it with his hands, he's leaning his head over the keyboards, and the big tentacle beard is playing the keys. I will unfortunately not be doing that. But my two friends sitting in front of me just turned their heads a little bit to the side and kind of looked back at me with a sideways glance like, are you getting this? Are you seeing this? And it is an indelible memory for me, and so this piece means quite a bit. You will hear Davy Jones' organ, but you will also hear his music box, which plays this theme and reminds him of his lost love.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Joseph Martin is about to play a piece that was written in 1944. And as music goes, that's not that long ago, is it? It's time. Music is so incredibly timeless in nature. If it's beautiful and it's wonderful, we don't have to really care too much, unless it's a music theory course or something of that sort, how wonderful the music can be. So I think you'll enjoy this. William Walton, of course, some of you may know, he wrote some absolutely fantastic music for the late Queen Elizabeth II's coronation back in 1953. And this is when he was at his height as a composer. Joseph, all yours.
Starting to feel self-conscious about the registrations I selected, so I'm just going to double check that everything is as loud as I originally imagined it was. So just be a quick test of the levels and I'll launch into this.
Thank you, Joseph. Stefan is going to favor us with two more pieces from Star Wars. I'm sure you all know John Williams has written a tremendous amount of wonderful music for movies. And I'd like to thank Stefan for not only playing this afternoon, but he designed the program. So we're very grateful.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to be playing, as Chris said, two selections from Star Wars from two completely different movies. The first selection is from Episode 2, which actually came much later than Episode 4, which was much earlier in the late 80s. This first selection is like a kind of Romeo and Juliet type piece. It's supposed to be a love theme, except there's a lot of tragedy baked into it. It's not quite as the happy-go-lucky kind of love theme. And the second piece, which is this big fanfare, which actually ends the first movie of Star Wars, which is Episode 4. It's a big fanfare, but not everything is happy. It starts with the theme that you heard in the very beginning of this concert, played in a minor key, but it ultimately ends in a happier note. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
The first of the two pieces that Henry is going to play today is the intermezzo from Calabria Rusticana, which is an opera by Mascagni that used to be paired with Pagliacci. It may still be that way. They're both rather short. They are incredible pieces. When I was in high school, my choir teacher was unable to go to the Metropolitan Opera on many Friday evenings, so a buddy of mine who was also in the choir, we went, and I will never forget the very first time I heard this piece. It is one of the most spellbinding, beautiful, I can't believe it, pieces. And Henry is a master at this. He's a master at everything. But this, is, especially on this instrument, you're going to be really treated to a rare and very special musical experience. Henry, all yours.
Never put a mic next to me. You may be wondering why a piece of opera music ended up on a movie music program. Well, there's always one person that has to stretch the rules. That would be me. So I have chosen two, please don't go to three, two pieces that were featured in movies, classical pieces. The first one, as Chris said, the intermezzo, was featured prominently in Raging Bull, one of Martin Scorsese's first films with Robert De Niro in 80 or 81, I believe it was. And if memory serves, it was filmed in black and white, which was quite the thing back then. And I don't know where this fits in with a boxing movie, but it worked quite well in there. One thing that struck me with that movie, Scorsese made that whole movie for $18 million. I think De Niro gets more than that just to put one foot on a set right now. But the second piece I'm going to play is technically a piece of organ music. Probably the most famous piece of organ music ever written, though we question if it is for the organ or not. I'll talk to you about that later. But it was featured in so many films, I would venture to say it may be the piece of classical music most featured in movies. Back to the early horror movies, it was featured in Dracula. It was featured in the 1950 version of Sunset Boulevard. It was also played by Captain Nemo in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And for goodness sakes, it's just such a popular piece. I'm not going to worry about if it was written for the organ or not. The toccata in D minor. And we'll move back to the intermezzo since I'm starting with that. To put yourself in the out of the boxing ring, let's go back to the opera stage. And it is Easter morning. Everybody is in church. We see the square, which is very quiet. And that's where you are right now in a town in Italy. is still near me. Now they say, as for something completely different.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to go upstairs now and take some photos of the artists, and anyone who'd like to come upstairs to see the organ in person, you are most welcome to do so. And we thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. You made it special for us. Thank you.